Welcome back to Grid Drop. Today we're going to help you get faster around one of Formula One's fastest tracks, Austria. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave any feedback or questions in the comment section, or in my Discord, which is linked in the description. That being said, let's get right into it. This video will be broken down into 5 sections: car setup, Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3, and finally a full lap. These sections are all equally important, so stay tuned to the end of the video if you really want to improve. So here's the setup I run at the RedBull Ring. Feel free to pause the video and screenshot this if you want to try out the setup on your own. This setup prioritizes front end grip and rotation while balancing minimal drag for the straights. As a disclaimer, this setup is a general baseline for you to start with and applies to both hot laps and a race. I recommend doing a few laps with this setup and tweaking it to fit your own style. Into the first corner, stick to the left side of the track and watch for the 100 meter board on the left. You want to brake just a hair beyond this point. This should be a full application of the brakes, all the way to 100%. Under braking now, and just after you pass the 50 meter board, bleed off the brake and turn into the corner. Don't get on the throttle just yet, as going wide through this corner can either lead to you spinning out, or just losing a lot of time on the following straight. Keep your eyes focused on the apex here, and aim to hit this inside curb. I like to cut as much of this curb as I can, including this yellow sausage curb. At the apex now, get back on the power and steadily start increasing. Allow the car to sway out to the left, and you can ride a portion of this left side curb. It's important to make sure you don't touch this yellow curb, as it can send you into a spin or generally destabilize your car. Once exiting, you should be at full throttle. Now enable DRS and fly down the straight. For this section, try to keep the car in the straightest line possible, and once the track bends uphill and to the left, aim to stick to that left-hand side of the track. So that's a look at Sector 1, now let's see it at full speed. On the left side of the track now and approaching the corner, watch for the meter boards on the left. You want to brake exactly at the 100 meter board here. This, again, is a full application of the brakes, as this is a very heavy braking zone. Keep the brakes at 100% for a little bit longer than you think, and slowly bleed off once beyond the 50 meter board. Start turning into the corner, and since this is such a tight one, you can keep slowly bleeding off the brakes until you reach the apex. The turn into this corner requires a big rotation in terms of steering, so once at the apex, consistently increase your throttle, while also consistently opening the steering back up. Smoothness is key here, as a jab of the throttle or a sudden steering input can lead to major instability. Once you're almost rotated through the corner and close to this left curb, you should be at least 50% power. From here, keep the wheel straight and get back to 100% throttle. Now enable DRS for the straight. The next upcoming corner is a right-hander, so again, make the straightest line you can as the track twists a bit, but stick to the left side once approaching the corner. This is a downhill braking zone, so again, you want to brake just a hair beyond the 100 meter board. Under braking, you can ride the left side curb. Keep an eye on the right side of the track so you can smoothly rotate the car into the corner. Once turning in, try to smoothly transition from bleeding off the brake to increasing the gas. This helps roll the car into the corner while maintaining as much speed as possible. Try not to coast through the corner at all, that just loses lap time. At the apex now, you should be fully off the brake and consistently increasing throttle. Let the car naturally sway to the left now, and you can use some of this curb. Once at the curb, now you should be reaching full power. Pull towards the right side of the track now and prepare for the next left-hander. That's a run through of Sector 2, now let's see it at full speed. On the right curb now, watch for the 50 meter board on the right. This is a final warning indicator that you're going to be turning into the corner soon. There aren't many reference points on track following this, so it's best to just watch the corner when it comes to braking and turning in. Once past the 50 meter board, start pulling the car off the curb. Aim to be as close as you can to this inside grass, and once off the curb, aggressively turn into the corner. As soon as you do this, brake. This is about a 40% brake input and 2 downshifts. This will allow you to smoothly pull the car in towards the apex without slowing down too much. Under braking and turning in, I actually don't take my foot off the throttle. I lift to leave about 10% throttle left, and then once I know I'll make the corner, I stomp the power back down. This allows you to shave off a little bit of time as you maintain speed through the corner. Increase the throttle in accordance with the corner, so make sure not to stomp it down too quickly. If you put the power down too fast, there's a good chance you'll understeer off the track. Once you have the throttle back down, naturally sway towards the right side of the track and use as much of this outside curb as possible. Now, keep your eye on the upcoming left. Again, there aren't many reference points for you to use here, so you have to use your judgment to turn in. You should be turning in before this tarmac comes back into the track on the right. Once turning in, I like to downshift one time and use maybe about 5 to 10% brake pressure very quickly. While you do this, only lift the throttle a little bit. I keep about 75% throttle while I brake and turn. This year's cars have a lot of grip, so this corner isn't flat out, but very, very fast. Aim to pull your car towards this inside curb, and at the midpoint of this corner, you should be at 100% throttle. Now, let the car naturally sway to the right side, and you can use as much of this right curb as you want, just be wary of track limits. Now, transition to the left side of the track, and you can use as much of this curb as you want as well. Approaching the last two corners now, stick to the left side of the track. Ride your left wheels on the curb here to extend the track, and watch for the 50-meter board. At this board, turn into the corner. Here, instead of braking, I like to lift the throttle about 50% and downshift once. Aim to get close to this inside curb, but try not to touch it as it can pull your car to the right. At mid-corner, shift your focus to the curb on the left, and consistently increase the throttle. By the time you reach this curb, you should be at 100% power again. You can use as much of this curb as you want, but it can be very easy to go beyond track limits here, so when going through this corner, make sure you're diligent with the throttle and avoid understeer. On the left curb now, keep your eyes focusing on the upcoming apex. There are no references on track for this corner, so you have to leave it to your own judgment. Aim to turn in where you can cut the corner as much as possible, because it's likely the car will slightly understeer onto the correct racing line. Once you turn in, brake about 50%, downshift twice, and continue aiming to cut as close as you can to this inside curb. You can take as much of this inside curb as you'd like, and doing so is the best way to go. Once at mid-corner or on the curb, start increasing the throttle again. You can be pretty aggressive getting back on the power here. Let your car naturally sway to the left, and again, be wary of track limits here. It's very easy to understeer on the corner and get a warning or penalty. Once on the left curb, pull back towards the track before the curb runs into grass, and enable DRS at the line. That's a look at Sector 3, now let's see it at full speed. Now let's take a look at a full lap. So there you have it, a full lap of the RedBull Ring broken down corner by corner and sector by sector. If you want to see more track guides on F124, have any questions, or need more tips, feel free to leave a comment on this video or in my Discord. Anyway, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.